Wish we had more time to spare. Want you around me like air. Can get my feelings involved, and then you not be there until
I'm helping people, bitch.
show me you care. I wanna keep you around. People like us are so rare, so rare, so rare, so rare, so rare. I wanna keep you around. People like us are so rare.
What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's damn YouTube? It's your girl that got us in our back. Ooh, with another one. Yeah. Alright guys, so today's video is going to be about how anybody could be hexed, anybody could be cursed, anybody could be put up under a spell. You are not exempt. But before we get into the video though, I'm gonna need you to like, comment, subscribe, and share. You hear me? You are more than welcome to think that anything I say on this channel is a bunch of tomfoolery. You are more than welcome to think that anything I say is crazy, or that I am crazy and I need psychiatric help. You are more than welcome to disagree with anything I say on this channel, because why? What you think is valid in your world. Let me repeat that. What you think is valid in your world. I am not here to persuade you to believe what I believe. I'm just here to provoke thought. Think how you want to think. So if you think Bigfoot and Sasquatch is real, baby, this is the channel for you. If you think aliens and mermaids exist, this is the channel for you. If you think aliens are real, this is the channel for you. Okay? Now, think how you want to think, unless how you think is detrimental to somebody's health, well-being, and safety, unprovoked. If you are unprovoked, or if you are psychotically, obsessively determined to do bad things to people, that might be something you may need psychiatric help. All right. Now let's get into the video. All right, y'all. So anybody can be cursed. Anybody can be hexed. The reason why I wanted to get on here and talk about this is because I be seeing all of these people in this spiritual community on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, all of these. I don't really get on Instagram that much actually, but TikTok and YouTube and podcasts and all these different things, where people be saying, you know, they try to trivialize spiritual warfare. They try to trivialize spiritual attack. And let me tell you something, it's not to be played with. It's not trivial. It is not just, they try to reduce it to just it being a mind thing. And yes, while it does work mentally, it is still very much deeper than that. And it works best on those who don't believe it could happen to them, or don't believe it at all. It works best on those two type of people who don't believe in it at all, or people who don't believe that it can happen to them. Because you got a lot of these spiritual people who feel like because they could read some cards that they that it can't happen to them. That it can't happen to them. Or they be like, you know, when your vibration is high and that kind of stuff don't mess with you. Nope. It has nothing to do with that. While having a high vibration does help the results, it helps for the results not to go in the person who sent it favor. You know, you made the results may not go through the way that person wanted it to, because you have a high vibration, but you still will have to fight. You still will have to fight. You still will have to do the work to get it up out your life. You know, to clear it up out of your energy. You still have to do the work. Now, people who are constantly working on their energy, who are constantly clearing their energy, who are constantly fasting, people who are constantly meditating and like pretty much basically like working on their spiritual health. Yes, the entity, the spirits, or the negative energy, whatever, will have a hard time trying to penetrate that person's energetic field. a person who is familiar with that type of energy, with spirits and entities and negative karmic energy, people who are familiar with that energy, who have had it done to them before, it'll have a hard time affecting those people's or penetrating those people's energetic field. But people who are not doing any work at all, people who are just, I'm gonna just tell you right now, nobody is on a higher, nobody's frequency is on a high enough level for that just to not, for it just to not work. Let me just say that, for it just to not work on you at all. Because like I said, even if you have a high vibration, they may not get the results, the desired results, but you still will have to fight and do the work. You know what I'm saying? So, and I feel like the only type of energy that won't work on is like people who are like Buddha on Buddha level or Jesus level, Yeshua, whatever, you know, who, because you know that deity got a bunch of names. That man got a bunch of names. Don't know what the real name is. Don't know who you know what I'm saying? But Jesus, we're gonna say Jesus because that's the name that we know, or Yeshua. That's the other most common name. You are not on Jesus level. You are not on Buddha level. You are not on these God levels. You know what I'm saying? You're not on those levels. So you're not, most people are not on that level. Okay, I'm just gonna let you know. Those are the only that's the level that it'll for sure that you have to be on for it to not even bother you at all. But if you are not on that level, which is majority of people, it could be affecting you and you not even know it. Or if it has not happened to you, it's because nobody sees you as a threat. I mean, I ain't gonna say nobody, but these people who practice these practices, these spiritual practices, do not see you as a threat. And I'm not saying that to prop myself up, because I be seeing a lot of people, I see a lot of people who because they could read some energy and read some cards, that they feel like they are exempt, or because they're high vibrational, because they could read these cards. No, you have a spiritual gift, yes, but that doesn't mean that you're exempt from that stuff happening to you. Okay? Just because you have a belief, just because you believe in God, don't mean that it can't happen to you. Just because you pray a lot doesn't mean that it can't happen to you. And I'm not saying that prayer does not work, because prayer works. My prayers are what led me after praying. That's how I was led. Well, after praying, I was led and guided to this information that I'm giving to you on this channel in these videos. So prayer works. But the Most High, the universe, the Most High, God, Source, Allah, Jah, whatever the higher power means to you, guided me towards sound healing. And once I found sound healing, I was able to study and analyze my thoughts and my own, my own mind or whatever. So that's why I'm able to get on here and talk about this so confidently, because I did the work. So people who are familiar with that type of energy, those are the only people. People on God level, which is Buddha, Jesus, etc., or people who are familiar with the energy, it will have a hard time affecting us, because we're aware, we know what it feels like, we know how it feels, so we know how to get rid of it, and we know how to banish it out of our energetic field. So I started making these videos to teach everybody else how to identify, how to learn how to identify that that's what's happening to you. When it's, I keep on talking about patterns. When you notice a pattern in your life, when you notice patterns, when you notice cycles of the same thing over and over again, whether it's situations, jobs, relationships. If you with a person you've been with a person for a long time and it seems like it's the same thing over and over and over and over again, that's a karmic cycle. Okay? But and then I give y'all the frequencies that I use to help me so that y'all can know what to do. And when you come across these videos of mine, I just want to let y'all know that my manifestation was for, and my prayer was for everybody who needs this information, or the people that's going to see it, the people that's going to watch it. So if you feel called to my videos, even if you feel like right now you feel like you don't really understand it fully, or if you feel like you don't, if you feel like it's not really for you, like you don't need to, like this is not happening to you, you need to rethink that. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't need it right now at this moment, you may need it in the future. You know what I'm saying? So take heed, especially if you are in the entertainment industry. Entertainment, whether that be music, comedy, movies, acting, whatever it is, that industry is ran by people who practice this stuff, occult magic, occult, black, dark, negative magic, okay? really satanic stuff, satanic cult stuff, right? And so yeah, if I mean, I know y'all may be entertained by it, or y'all might find it interesting, but there is a reason why you come back to these videos every time I post one. All right, now it's one specific girl who I be seeing. She be talking about like her relationship issues. She be talking about, you know, it's almost like she's conflicted. It's almost like she can't let go of her attachment to Christianity, which she doesn't have to let go of her attachment to Christianity. You don't have to choose, because I talk about, you know, I reference the Bible all the time in a lot of these videos, but it's almost like she can't let go of she can't detach herself from the indoctrination, you know, and those are two different things, you know what I mean? And it's almost, so she's watching my videos, a really popular girl, so she's watching my videos and she's listening to what I'm saying, and she's like, I know she's not evil, I know she's not negative, I know she's not demonic, she's actually trying to help, you know, people fight off, you know, demons or the devil or whatever, and teach you how it works or whatever. But it's almost like it's almost like she also is trying to attribute what happened to me, my experience, to not being a Christian. And it's like, that's not true. So if you see, and she showed up in my dream one time after I posted one specific video, and in the dream she's rocking back and forth in the car saying Jesus, 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 Jesus. And it's almost like she's afraid, like she's scared. But that's what you shouldn't be. Matter of fact, I think they preach that in church. I think I heard my dad's preacher say that one time. Because if you really believe in God and God is protecting you, why are you scared? But anyways, she's trying to, so it's almost like she's trying to attribute my experience to not being a Christian. And that's not true, because I've been a Christian my entire life. You know, my mama wasn't a church goer, but I used to always be asking her why we don't go to church. 'Cause I always wanted to go to church. So then when I would spend the night at my nanny house, nanny is in Louisiana or New Orleans, we call our godmother's nanny. So not an actual like babysitter, but a nanny, but my godmother. So I would go spend the night at my nanny house, and she would make us she went to church every Sunday religiously. Okay, she was dedicated, all right? And even though I would go with her and she would make me go to Bible study and all that, I used to be bored as if couldn't wait to get out of church. But I always still was like, Mom, let's go to church. Mom, let's go to church. But my mama, she wanted to watch the football game. She had to watch the Saints on Sunday. The church let out too late. It's too late. Church service too late. I got to watch the game. I got to watch the Saints, even though they was losing. She still had to watch them. My mama is a football girl, football person, okay? Anyways, so since I was a child, had a connection or wanted a connection or desired a connection to God, to the higher power. So, since I was a kid, I have had dreams of the devil chasing me. It would be dreams, it was multiple. Eventually they stopped, but I was a child, and this happened to me. This person that did this to me put this on me when I was a child, okay? So it has nothing to do with belief, being a Christian or being a part of any religion. It's about being tapped in. Do you really have a connection with the higher power like you think? Do you really think that church is gonna bring you to that, closer to that higher power? Gonna connect you? Do you think that church is really the answer to connect you to the real higher power? Is church a form of, is church a way for people to make money nowadays? Is church, you gotta ask all of those different questions. Are we going to church because we actually believe in what we're being taught? Are we going to church because, are we going to church just because it's just something that we've been doing, for generations? Do we really have a connection? Is what you really should be asking. Because it almost seems as though she's trying to find it. She's trying to find that connection, but she cannot, and it's almost like she's afraid to let go of her attachment to the religion itself, Christianity itself, rather than being open-minded and learning things outside of that religion. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, she's rejecting the information, even though it's what she wants, it's what she desires. She desires to learn and have a connection with spirit, and she's denying or rejecting the information, and it's due to her attachment to Christianity as an ideology. So I said all that to say, if you are watching this video, if you are watching my videos, at least take heed. At least pay attention to what I'm saying. Don't rule it out. Don't cancel it out. Don't just watch me just to watch me. But actually take in what I'm saying. Actually really learn something, That's why I make these videos. I don't make these videos. I haven't gotten any compensation for these videos, even though I would like some compensation. But I'm still going because I feel like I am being called to do this. I am being called to help people with spiritual warfare. Now, I want to play a video of a girl talking about her experience with somebody doing witchcraft on her at church, in her church, a church member. So that goes to show you that it does not matter where you at. It does not matter what you believe. It does not matter any of that. It does not matter, because you have Haitians who practice Haitian voodoo or whatever. You have Haitians who use voodoo, like the Haitian Revolution. They used voodoo to help them win that war against the French. It was like war magic, retaliation magic. But nowadays you have people using voodoo as a weapon. You know what I'm saying? They're using it as a weapon nowadays. As a weapon, not to defend themselves, but to cause destruction, so they could get what they want, to conquer. You know what I'm saying? To conquer people and to conquer things. And people start these spiritual practices. They start dabbling into the occult, into the dark occult, because it gives them a sense of power. While waiting on God, the universe, or whatever, waiting on that is not fast enough. It's not quick enough. And this gives them a sense of power. This gives them a sense of control over not themselves, but other people. While waiting on the universe or God, the higher power, requires for you to have control over self, so that you can attract things to you, the things that you want to you, to become a vibrational match to the things that you want. Doing black magic and voodoo in a negative way allows them to have control over people, so they can get what they want quicker. They don't really understand what it does to people, spirits. They don't know how it tampers with people's souls, how it tampers with people's spirits. They just do it so that they can get what they want. They don't really, and honestly, I don't even think they really care, because some people know what it does. They watch. They do it. They pay a practitioner and they watch the destruction. They watch the stuff happen to the people that they wanted to do it to. And they sit there and watch, and they bask in it. It's like, you're under my spell. My magic is working. And it's kind of really ridiculous. And like I said, I know all of this sounds so crazy. Like, it sounds unfathomable. But it is real, man. It is true. And like I said, I'm not here to persuade you to believe what I believe. I'm just here to provoke thought. Okay? I'm just here to get you to start thinking about certain things. Like, you can't just walk around living life being unaware. You gotta be aware. So and like I say, every person, and I feel like Haitians are misusing their ancestors' religion, because it is a religion. They are misusing their ancestors' religion to destruct, or just to get, to be for greed, to get what they want, to be greedy or whatever. And every person that has come to me and asked me for help, all of them, the people that have done it, did it to them, all of them were Haitian. All of them were Haitian. And Haitians, they hide the fact that they practice that. They hide it. So, like I say, you don't have to believe anything I say. But like I say, I don't think it's a coincidence that I, say these prayers. I write a lot of my prayers down. I write these prayers down, and I start finding out about sound healing, and then it works. You know what I'm saying? And then even prior to that, doing things out of my comfort zone, like going to get readings, tarot readings, and psychic readings. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff that I never believed in before, but I was so up to the point where I felt like I had no choice. You know, going to the doctor and them not being able to diagnose me or help me had me up, like had me feeling up, because it's like either the doctors ain't and them degrees don't mean or it's something else deeper going on. It's something else deeper going on. You know what I mean? So now let's get to the video of this girl giving her experience with witchcraft being done to her by a member of her church.
I was hexed at 11 years old by a woman in the church that was jealous of my mother. My father was a minister and my mother was very spiritual, and people did not believe that my mother and father should have been together because they believed my mother was a witch, which is ironic, right? My father had an appreciation, and the food that was prepared for everyone, I took one bite and I fell ill immediately, to the point where I had to go lay in the backseat of my father's car. That moment led to me being paralyzed from the neck down and a 3-month hospital stay. I never received a formal diagnosis, and I was told from the doctor that I would never walk again. Like any loving parents, my mother and father were willing to try anything, and they were looking for answers, and that led them to Malidoma Some. At that point, we had given up on modern medicine, and we had began to fight a spiritual war that included spiritual baths and ritual. Within 30 days, I had taught myself how to walk again. And I'm not saying it like I'm just, no, by the grace of God. I regained strength in my limbs after being told that it would not happen, and that I was sent home in a pink wheelchair, and they gave me a walker, and that was pretty much it. I made a full recovery. I moved on with my life, went back to school like nothing happened. But every so often, I think about that. And how those same church folks would accuse me of being a witch and practicing witchcraft. But I was hexed by a woman in the church. Just, blows my mind a little bit.
Now, unlike me, I meant to say unlike me, she had the help and the support of her parents, who were also, like I said, spiritual. They actually believe in the higher power. My mother and father, they're kind of just like these people that just kind of say that they believe in something but really don't. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like a I fake believe in this. I'm only saying I believe in this because that's just it just seemed like the right thing to do, because that's what we've been taught. So that's what I meant by when I said earlier about do you believe in this because you really believe in this, or are you believing in this because it just makes you feel like a good person, because that's what we've been taught, right? So are you actually tapped in? Are you actually tapped into the spirit, the spiritual realm? Because God is a spiritual being, regardless of what you may think and what you have been taught. So, but just like her, I had to learn. I'm sorry. Just like her, I went to the doctor. Just like her, I went to the doctor and I had no diagnosis. No diagnosis. I went to a different doctor, no diagnosis. I went to another doctor, no diagnosis. Then they referred me. Then that doctor referred me to a specialist, no diagnosis. I can't keep paying co-pays, and then you know, I can't keep spending money on co-pays to see the doctor. Well, I mean, the copay not really that much, but still, like, who wants to keep paying for the copay and then paying for medicine that didn't work? Because it eventually turned into like, all right, well, these are the symptoms of this, so just go, you know, take this, and none of it worked. You know what I mean? So having to go through that by myself, you know, not having no support, or like, you know what I'm saying, like, not really, you know, just by myself, literally having to go through this by myself. So I wanted to make these videos to help others, just in case, you know, you don't have the support. Like, maybe your parents may not really be spiritual, or your family may not really be spiritual or really believe in the spirit, and you know, you gotta fight the battle by yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm not the only one. Other people have come out talking about their experiences, you know, and there's a community of people who openly practice this, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's the girl who I saw say something about her on TikTok, say something about how she, you know, had her ancestor altar, and I guess the man that was beating her or whatever, abusing her or treating her badly, used to smoke cigarettes, and she put the cigarettes on her ancestor altar, and he ended up smoking. And she said she told her ancestor she wanted him to suffer. And the man took a cigarette off from the cigarettes that was on her altar, and then he had a heart attack or some stuff like that, or something. I don't know. But I'm not mad at that, because, I mean, if somebody is abusing you and you found a way to save yourself, then I don't have no issues with that. But I'm saying, like, people will do things like that for no reason. People will do things like that to people just out of envy. That's why I say envy is a demon. Envy, jealousy is a demon, okay? I don't partake. If anything makes me start to make me feel, if I feel any type of jealous energy, I remove myself. I'm not gonna let myself get consumed with that type of feeling. So I'm going to not look at whatever that is that's making me feel that way. I'm not going to partake in or hang around anything that makes me feel that way, because that is a strong energy, and it will drive people to do anything, especially these people who practice this, because like I say, they feel like this gives them a sense of control. Like, all right, well, I don't like her, so I'm going to do this to her. I don't like her, so I'm going to do that to her. Oh, she finna get that opportunity, I'm going to block it. She finna get that opportunity, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to delay her success. I'm going to delay her progress so that I can get the opportunity. And it's really weird, because they think that blocking you is going to get them the opportunity. If you was meant or chosen to get the opportunity, if you were meant to be chosen for that, you would have gotten the opportunity. And it's just like, look what you did when you didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? And then you still feel like you deserve to have the opportunity. Look what you did to a person just because you didn't get the opportunity that they got. Look what you did. Why would you think God would choose you for anything like that? Why would you think the ancestors would choose you to be the chosen one when you would do something like that to your own bloodline, to your own family? Why would you? Tell me why you deserve the greatest of all time, motherfucker. Why you feel like you deserve it? Cause these types of people will sit there and say, well, they deserve it. I deserve it. Well, how? Why? Why do you feel like you deserve something that you obviously didn't get and wasn't chosen for? Why do you feel like you have the authority over somebody's life to be able to feel like you could block somebody from something or delay somebody from something because you feel like you deserve it? Look at the type of person, look at the type of stuff you would do. Look at the type of stuff you would do. You think the ancestors gonna choose you to do to save the bloodline? You think God gonna choose you to be a leader, to be in a leadership position? Now, don't get me wrong. It's a lot of foul people in leadership positions, and they got there because they do these types of things. Especially, like I say, people who are the higher ups in the music entertainment industry. Keep that in mind. Allegedly, of course. For whatever, you know what I'm saying? For fame or whatever, because what? Like, come on, bro. Like, get the fuck out of here. So anyways, that's actually all I have to say. That's all I wanted to touch on. I think I touched on everything that I wanted to talk about. And yeah, that's it. All right, bye. And remember, don't be a hoe. You's a hoe asshole, you's a hoe asshole, you hoe asshole.